Hey guys. I don't know, I just had a connection problem, so there may be a connection issue. Hopefully there isn't, but I'm just trying to set this up. I have this little tickle in my throat, sorry. Many people have been asking me for a long time on if I can just start talking a little bit more about how what they think and what they feel, how that affects their physical health. And obviously, being a chiropractor and working with many people come in the front door with something that they want help with, whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, chronic immune issues, digestive. But there's typically a major issue that they come in with. Usually, well, I'd probably say 99.9%, with the exception of kids. Infants have their own way of saying what's not feeling good, right? Most everybody has a physical complaint somehow, some way. And so it may be secondary. So let's just say they really want help with anxiety, depression. And in the meantime, my neck doesn't feel very good. I have a constant dull headache every day. That takes second place to the other stuff that they really want help with or they really want to heal. And so I'm talking about ankles today. If you guys have been following our Facebook page, one of the questions had to do with ankles and peeing. It's my birthday month, and I'm 40, but talked about what happens more, spraining my ankle or peeing my pants. And haha, joke. But back in the day, I had my first severe ankle sprain in 5th grade playing softball, and it was just all the time. It was my right and my left, and I could be walking and twist it. I for sure, if there was any kind of contact or quick movements, I was likely to hurt an ankle. I was always braced. Both of them, I still would tweak them. Got better when I played college sports, and I can still tweak them. I'm very careful, but I didn't really start to realize how much that affected everything until probably 5 years ago. Oh, not affected everything. That doesn't even make sense. I didn't realize what other components could be at play until about 5 years ago, and so that's when I started to evaluate everything. So if somebody would have chronic sinus issues, what is going on? If you have chronic gut issues, chronic ankle sprains, you're constantly in car accidents. I mean, just there's so many things, not only the physical pain part, but with what I do, my niche has always been the mental, emotional world. So that person is on the table and I'm adjusting you, and I just naturally have a gift of seeing, feeling, hearing, whatever it is, what's going on emotionally, and then how that emotion is creating the physical pain. There's always an emotional component to a physical pain. Always, 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 always. Got it? That is, if there's anything to walk away from today, it is that there's always an emotion tied to a physical pain. So ankles. Let's just talk about ankles for a second. Ankles are foundation. They're when they're not flexible, it really it's like you're inflexible in your life, and that's how you live it. You're rigid. There's the emotions that are tied to it are guilt, not being able to accept pleasure or compliments, or not being good enough, or there's always a resistance. Also, the inability, which would be flexibility, but inability to change direction. So inability to go with the flow, inability to be okay with what is and learn from what is. That is what your ankles are a part of. And so you have chronic ankle sprains. There is a strong emotional connection to inability to adapt, inflexibility in your life, guilt, and resentment. Those are two major ones. So when you can go there and do some self-love some journeying, I call it, or journaling, or basically writing out. If you write those words down and you start to really explore what they mean to you, you will find huge value on releasing that, or at just being aware of it. At least most of us aren't even aware. We see all of our symptoms as different things. They're not. They're all a piece of the puzzle. This whole puzzle, it's you're required to figure it out, to figure out all these pieces and what's normal, what's not normal, what goes together, what doesn't go together, and how are you going to help heal your whole body, not just your ankles, or not just your gallbladder, or not just your neck, or not just your tonsils. Everything means something. So one of my longest mentors is Louise Hay, and she wrote a few books, I think. Heal Your Life, Heal Your Body. Heal Your Life is one of them, and Heal Your Body is another. But she has a whole list of symptoms, let's say, and it attaches to what emotion or what's happening, like how you're showing up in your life. That would be a great place to start. I'm a huge proponent of affirmations, meditation, journaling. And so if you can go deeper into that, find a few affirmations. Affirmations are just things to get your mind to start to shift and shift in healing and growth instead of lack and fear. So just a few tips. Ankles. Chronic ankle sprains is not a physical thing. Becomes a physical thing. Address where guilt and resentment comes from. Address where being inflexible in your life comes from. Address where not being able to shift and adapt and go with the flow a little bit, because that was definitely me. I can absolutely pinpoint, and I think if you could write a list of all your things, like in your childhood and into your adulthood, even for your kids, and start doing a little bit of research on that, you will find a huge shift. Now, it becomes a physical thing, right? So the physical, the neurological, the brain needs to be addressed because of so much time in that mental breakdown and that emotional breakdown. So, and that's from where I come from as a holistic chiropractor, healer, I don't know, whatever I'm called these days. That's where that needs to be reset. Like the brain has learned by the emotion and then the physical patterning, so compensation, posture, all those kind of things. It's learned how to adapt in its own way. So it's like muscle memory. You got to change that. That's what every adjustment does. Is it changes that it starts to heal the emotional, mental, physiological, because really our nervous system controls absolutely everything. So brain, spinal cord is what controls everything from the inside out. And it's just starting to retrain how your body's working. This may be way over your head, but I really want to start talking a little bit more about this because in how I practice, this is really how I practice. I'm looking at where your stressors coming from, how are they affecting you, what emotions are stuck, what need to be released, what needs to be worked on, where are you bothered, where are you hiding, where do you need to stand up, where do you need to be bold. All of those intangibles is really the essence of how I practice. So feel free to ask questions. If this is of interest and people are really wanting to know more, I'll make it a point to get on here a little bit more often and share more stories, because it happens 100 times a day. There's a story of something physical that's actually created from the emotional. Until the emotional can be addressed, the physical is just going to hang on a little bit. So thanks. If you have any questions, ask away. Later.